welcome to the ThinkWiser channel, where we dive into the heart of mystical teachings and esoteric knowledge to gain insight from some of the world's greatest minds. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated on our latest reviews. Today, we're embarking on a journey into the pages of The Secret Teachings of All Ages by the renowned mystic and scholar Manly P. Hall. This comprehensive guide to the philosophical and metaphysical traditions of the world has fascinated readers for nearly a century. So, if you're ready for a journey into the hidden wisdom of the past, stick around. At its core, The Secret Teachings of All Ages is a comprehensive guide to ancient esoteric philosophy and spiritual traditions. This is a deep dive into the world of wisdom that has been kept secret, hidden, or simply misunderstood throughout the ages. Penned by Manly P. Hall, this masterpiece is a testament to the author's monumental research and his dedication to unraveling the mysteries of the universe. Let's review Chapter 11, Wonders of Antiquity. The flame of wisdom has always burned through the ages, sometimes hidden beneath layers of myth and mystery. But today, we uncover the truths behind the wonders of antiquity and what they mean for us in modern times. This chapter opens with a captivating theme: ever-burning lamps, symbols of eternal wisdom, creation, and life after death. These mystical lights, found in the tombs of ancient Egyptians, Greeks, and Romans, bring us to one key question. What are the hidden flames of knowledge that we, today, can access? The ever-burning lamps, the flame of eternal knowledge. Imagine an ancient lamp that, once lit, burns forever without fuel. To the ancients, these lamps symbolized not just physical light, but eternal wisdom. They were found in tombs, left to guide the souls of the dead through the afterlife. Today, we can look at these ever-burning lamps as a metaphor for something far more profound: the enduring nature of consciousness and the spark of divine knowledge that exists within each of us. In modern spiritual practices, we often talk about awakening the inner light, or illumination through meditation, mindfulness, and connection with higher consciousness. These concepts echo the idea of the ever-burning lamp, a light within us that, once ignited, can continue to burn indefinitely, providing wisdom and guidance throughout our lives. The ancient alchemists and priests, who were thought to have created these magical flames, understood this. Though the fuel for these lamps may have been lost to time, the eternal flame of consciousness burns on in us. This ever-burning light also ties into the idea of resilience and the persistence of knowledge. Just as these lamps were sealed away for centuries, only to be discovered burning, so too does knowledge transcend time, awaiting rediscovery. What hidden truths are we ready to rediscover today? The Oracle of Delphi. Channeling higher guidance. The Oracle of Delphi was not just a place of prophecy. It was a sacred portal where humans connected with divine wisdom. The Pythia, the priestess who would deliver the prophecies, would sit above a fissure in the earth, inhaling vapors that would induce a trance. In this state, she would speak the will of Apollo, the god of prophecy. But if we strip away the layers of myth, what was really happening? In modern terms, the Oracle of Delphi represents a powerful example of channeling higher consciousness. The ancient Greeks believed in accessing higher realms of wisdom, a practice not so different from modern-day spiritual channeling or mediumship. The idea of entering altered states of consciousness, whether through breathwork, meditation, or even hypnosis, mirrors the methods used by the Pythia. The vapors from the earth, while historically explained as geologically induced trances, can also be seen as symbolic of the spiritual fumes we seek to inhale today. States of clarity and connection to the divine. Whether through ancient rites or modern mindfulness, we are still seeking ways to touch higher wisdom. The Oracle teaches us that the voice of the divine is still accessible, but it requires a still mind, a quiet spirit, and the right conditions to access it. Are we listening to our inner oracle today? The Seven Wonders of the World. Earthly Monuments of Divine Wisdom. The seven wonders of the world stand as icons of human achievement, but their deeper significance often goes unnoticed. These ancient structures, the Great Pyramid, the Colossus of Rhodes, the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, weren't just marvels of engineering. They were physical manifestations of spiritual truths, each tied to the 7 planetary deities of ancient wisdom traditions. Take the Great Pyramid of Giza, often regarded as the ultimate wonder. Many researchers believe it was far more than just a tomb for the pharaohs. It was a symbol of cosmic wisdom, built to align with specific celestial patterns. Modern physics has revealed that the structure embodies mathematical precision and astronomical alignment, hinting at an understanding of the universe that goes beyond what we commonly attribute to ancient civilizations. In our current age, these wonders still call out to us. They ask us to consider the deeper meaning behind our creations. In a time when we build vast cities and technological marvels, are we still honoring the divine within our achievements? These ancient wonders teach us that what we build with our hands reflects what we value in our souls. What will our monuments say about our wisdom to future generations? The initiated architects, builders of sacred geometry. The architects of these wonders were not mere craftsmen. They were initiates into the sacred mysteries, possessors of knowledge that transcended the physical world. The understanding of geometry, astronomy, and mathematics seen in the construction of these ancient structures wasn't just intellectual, it was spiritual. To them, building was a form of communion with the divine. In today's world, we see a resurgence of interest in sacred geometry, the belief that shapes and proportions hold divine significance. This understanding is woven into everything from nature to the design of ancient temples. The pyramids, for instance, align with the stars, echoing the macrocosm within the microcosm, embodying the Hermetic principle, as above, so below. This principle still guides us today in our search for harmony between the physical and spiritual realms. In modern times, architecture and design have begun to reclaim these ancient understandings. From the resurgence of mindfulness in interior design to the return of eco-friendly, nature-integrated buildings, there is a movement towards reconnecting with the spiritual essence of space. What can we learn from these ancient architects about the spaces we inhabit today? The mystical power of prophecy, accessing the unknown. Lastly, this chapter speaks to the idea of prophecy, not just as a supernatural act, but as a deeply spiritual practice of foresight. Whether it was the oracles of Delphi or the seers of Dodona, prophecy was more than predicting the future. It was about tuning into higher states of awareness to receive guidance. In many ways, these ancient prophets were early explorers of the unknown, delving into realms beyond ordinary perception. Today, we don't consult oracles in caves or speak to gods through priestesses. Instead, we have developed tools of foresight in different ways: psychology, intuition, even technology. Yet the essence remains the same. We still seek to understand what lies beyond the present moment, what awaits us in the future. Whether we call it intuition or spiritual insight, the desire to know what's beyond now still drives us. In ancient times, prophecy was revered as a direct connection to the divine. The process involved ritual, purification, and the willingness to embrace uncertainty. In modern times, we still seek to tap into this same intuitive wisdom, whether through meditation, tarot readings, or even deep introspective thought. The key remains the same: to connect to a force beyond our own understanding, to make peace with the unknown. In what ways are we still seeking prophecy in our lives today? Chapter 12. The Life and Philosophy of Pythagoras. Pythagoras, one of the most enigmatic figures in ancient philosophy, stands at the crossroads of mysticism, science, and spirituality. Born from prophetic origins and destined for greatness, his life story is woven with myths, mysteries, and revelations that transcend his time. But Pythagoras wasn't just a philosopher. He was a seeker of ultimate truths, a bridge between the ancient mysteries and the higher wisdom of the universe. What secrets did this master uncover? How did his teachings shape our understanding of the cosmos and the soul? In this video, we will explore 5 transformative ideas that Pythagoras shared with the world, ideas that still resonate in our modern understanding of life, spirituality, and the universe. Imagine a man who claimed to understand the very soul of the universe, who believed in a secret connection between numbers and cosmic forces, and who taught that our destinies are shaped by unseen mathematical patterns. Pythagoras was that man, and today his teachings offer a roadmap to understanding not just the external world, but the deepest aspects of ourselves. Pythagoras is often credited with discovering that the universe is built on a foundation of mathematics and geometry. He believed that everything, whether it was a star in the sky, the growth of a plant, or the music of a lyre, could be understood through numbers. To Pythagoras, numbers weren't just quantities, but living symbols that represented the structure of reality itself. The 5 symmetrical solids he studied, the tetrahedron, cube, octahedron, icosahedron, and dodecahedron, each held a profound meaning. These shapes were the building blocks of existence, connected to the 4 classical elements: earth, fire, air, and water. In modern terms, Pythagoras' view of geometry as the language of the universe is echoed in today's science. Whether in physics, where the fabric of space-time is measured, or in biology, where we observe fractal patterns in nature, the mathematical insights of Pythagoras form the foundation of how we decode the natural world. The relationship between sacred geometry and spiritual insight continues to fascinate seekers and scientists alike, connecting the dots between ancient wisdom and modern discoveries. Pythagoras introduced a concept known as the harmony of the spheres, the idea that the planets and stars move according to mathematical equations, creating a symphony of sound inaudible to the human ear. This ancient teaching suggests that all cosmic movements are interrelated, following a divine order, much like how the strings of a musical instrument vibrate in harmony. In spiritual terms, this implies that the universe itself is alive, a grand symphony where every soul plays its part. Modern physics, particularly string theory, mirrors this concept, where the universe is seen as made up of vibrating strings of energy. Pythagoras' understanding of cosmic harmony is a reminder that we are part of a greater whole, a dance of energies that influences not only our external world, but also our inner spiritual journey. Central to Pythagoras' philosophy was the concept of the monad, the divine unity from which all things emanate. To him, the monad was the source, the beginning, and the end of all existence. It represented the divine consciousness, omnipresent and omnipotent. From this one, all multiplicity arises, meaning everything we experience in the material world is a reflection or shadow of this divine unity. This ancient idea aligns with spiritual concepts of oneness found in various traditions, including non-dualism in Eastern philosophy and the God is everything concept in mystical teachings. In today's spiritual conversations, the monad invites us to reflect on the interconnectedness of all things, how we, as individuals, are extensions of a greater consciousness. It reminds us that behind the apparent separation in our world lies an underlying unity, a truth that speaks to our deepest sense of being. Pythagoras was one of the earliest philosophers to discuss the transmigration of souls, or what we now call reincarnation. He taught that the soul, in its journey through life and death, evolves by repeatedly returning to the physical plane, learning from each lifetime. His belief that souls could reincarnate into animals based on their behavior in life is a metaphor for spiritual growth, whereby our actions and choices determine the path of our soul's evolution. This concept of spiritual evolution has modern parallels, both in metaphysical teachings and psychological growth theories. Today, we might not view reincarnation in the same literal terms, but the idea of karma and spiritual refinement through experience is central to many personal development and spiritual practices. Pythagoras reminds us that life is not a linear journey, but a cyclical one, with each turn bringing us closer to enlightenment. One of the most potent symbols from Pythagoras' teachings is the Y-shaped fork in the road, representing the choice between earthly wisdom and divine wisdom. This metaphor describes the human journey. We are constantly faced with choices that can lead us toward higher spiritual knowledge or pull us deeper into material indulgence. The right path, or divine wisdom, leads to union with the higher self, and ultimately the cosmos, while the left path represents distractions and attachments that cloud the soul's true nature. In modern spirituality, this is often described as the battle between the ego and the higher self. Pythagoras' teachings call on us to be mindful of the choices we make each day. Do we choose to align with higher truth and seek knowledge of the universe, or do we succumb to the temptations of the material world? This lesson remains deeply relevant in our world today, as we navigate a life filled with endless distractions and choices, pulling us in every direction. Chapter 13, Pythagorean Mathematics. Imagine a world where numbers are more than just tools for calculation. They are sacred symbols, unlocking the secrets of the universe. Pythagoras, the legendary Greek philosopher and mathematician, believed precisely that. His theory of numbers wasn't just about arithmetic. It was a mystical framework through which reality itself could be understood. In this chapter of The Secret Teachings of All Ages, we delve into the esoteric world of Pythagorean mathematics, exploring the hidden meanings of numbers, the mystical power of geometry, and the profound spiritual lessons these ancient teachings hold for us today. Let's begin by looking at the core concept of numbers as cosmic forces. For Pythagoras, numbers were more than abstract concepts. They represented the very essence of reality. The ancient Greeks believed that everything in the universe could be reduced to mathematical principles, and in Pythagoras' view, numbers were divine. In modern terms, we can think of numbers as universal codes that govern everything from the motion of the planets to the rhythms of life itself. And in an era where we rely heavily on algorithms and data, Pythagoras' insight seems more relevant than ever. Numbers are the underlying structure of reality, a concept that is echoed today in everything from quantum physics to artificial intelligence. Pythagoras believed that numbers were not merely tools for counting. They were archetypes, symbols that embodied universal principles. The number 1, for instance, represented unity and the source of all things. 2 signified duality, light and dark, male and female, creation and destruction. 3 symbolized harmony and balance. Each number, from 1 to 10, carried a specific meaning, with 10 symbolizing the completion of a cosmic cycle. This ancient wisdom invites us to reflect on the symbolic power of numbers in our own lives. Consider how often we encounter these archetypes: the power of 1 as a solitary force, the tension between opposites in relationships, 2, and the need for balance in mind, body, and spirit, 3. Even in technology, the binary nature of computers, zeros and ones, reflects this ancient duality, showing how Pythagoras' insights bridge ancient wisdom and modern innovation. One of the mathematical concepts discussed in this chapter is the sieve of Eratosthenes, a method used to filter prime numbers from composite ones. This simple yet profound technique reminds us of the power of purity and refinement in both numbers and life. Just as the sieve isolates prime numbers, we too can sift through the complexities of life, removing what is unnecessary and revealing the essence of truth. In a spiritual context, this idea mirrors the path of self-purification, removing the distractions and impurities of the material world to uncover our true spiritual nature. Today, in our hyper-connected world, where information and distractions are overwhelming, this ancient practice of filtering becomes a metaphor for seeking clarity, mindfulness, and higher truth. The tetractys, a triangular figure composed of 10 dots arranged in 4 rows, was revered by the Pythagoreans as a sacred symbol of the universe. It represented the harmony of the cosmos and the unity between the physical and spiritual worlds. The first row, 1 dot, symbolizes the monad, or unity. The second row, 2 dots, represents duality. The third row, 3 dots, stands for harmony, and the fourth row, 4 dots, signifies the material world. In today's spiritual practices, the tetractys can be seen as a model for personal growth and self-realization. It teaches us that to ascend spiritually, we must harmonize the different aspects of our lives, mind, body, and soul, into a cohesive whole. In modern times, this reflects the idea of achieving balance through mindfulness and alignment, emphasizing that personal development is a process of integrating various aspects of our existence. One of the most intriguing aspects of Pythagorean mathematics is the concept that numbers can be androgynous, possessing both masculine and feminine qualities. The number 1, for example, was seen as both male and female, a symbol of unity that transcends duality. This mirrors many spiritual traditions that seek to integrate the masculine and feminine within each individual, promoting balance and wholeness. In modern terms, this concept can be seen as a call to embrace both sides of our nature: logic and intuition, action and reflection, strength and compassion. In a world that often emphasizes division, the Pythagorean teaching of androgynous numbers reminds us that true wisdom lies in unity, not separation. Perfect numbers, such as 6 and 28, were highly significant in Pythagorean mathematics. A perfect number is one whose divisors add up to the number itself. For instance, the divisors of 6 are 1, 2, and 3, and their sum is 6. Pythagoras saw these numbers as representations of spiritual perfection and harmony. In our quest for spiritual enlightenment, the concept of perfection speaks to the importance of balance and completeness. Just as a perfect number is in harmony with its divisors, so too must we seek harmony within ourselves and with the universe. In today's chaotic world, this principle encourages us to strive for inner balance and self-mastery, understanding that true perfection comes not from external success, but from internal peace and alignment. Pythagorean mathematics offers us more than just a glimpse into the mind of a great philosopher. It reveals profound spiritual truths that are just as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. By understanding the deeper meanings behind numbers, we can unlock a new perspective on the universe and our place within it. These ancient teachings remind us that numbers are not just symbols. They are cosmic forces, guiding us toward greater harmony, balance, and spiritual enlightenment. Chapter 14. The Human Body in Symbolism. Imagine if the very body you inhabit is not just a vessel for your life, but a profound reflection of the entire universe. A sacred text in human form, carrying within it the mysteries of creation, life, and spiritual evolution. This ancient understanding ties our physical existence to cosmic forces, unveiling that within our very anatomy lies the key to unlocking universal truths. Today, we'll explore how ancient wisdom saw the human body as the ultimate symbol of divine power and cosmic unity, and what this means for us in our modern spiritual journey. The human body in symbolism presents the idea that the human body is far more than just a biological machine. It's the most ancient and universal of all symbols, an intricate microcosm of the universe itself. Through this symbolic lens, the early philosophers, mystics, and initiates of ancient civilizations saw the body as a direct reflection of divine forces and cosmic laws. The body was not only a physical entity but also a sacred template, embodying the same principles that governed the heavens, the earth, and the unseen realms of spirit. In essence, the human form was viewed as a bridge between the physical world and the spiritual cosmos, a powerful metaphor for understanding life's mysteries. One of the most significant ideas in this chapter is the concept that man is a microcosm, or little universe, mirroring the larger macrocosm of the cosmos. Ancient wisdom teaches us that just as the universe operates under a divine and orderly structure, so too does the human body. This relationship between the macrocosm and microcosm speaks to the idea that everything in the external world, be it the stars, planets, or cosmic forces, has a reflection within us. For example, the brain is often symbolized as the heavenly realm, the heart as the spiritual sun, and the reproductive organs as the creative forces of the universe. In modern times, this concept can be seen in the idea of interconnectedness, where every part of the universe is linked in an intricate web of existence. We can apply this ancient understanding by realizing that the universe is not separate from us. We are part of it. Through practices like meditation or mindfulness, we can align ourselves with these cosmic rhythms and live more harmoniously, recognizing that the same forces that govern the universe are mirrored in our own being. In the ancient mystery schools, initiation ceremonies often took place in temples that symbolized the human body. Each part of the temple corresponded to a part of the human anatomy. The candidate would enter the temple through the feet, symbolizing the beginning of their spiritual journey in the material world, and ascend toward the brain, which represented the attainment of divine wisdom. This profound teaching still resonates today. Our bodies are temples for our spiritual essence. How we care for, nurture, and respect this temple directly influences our spiritual growth. In the modern world, this calls for a deeper appreciation of holistic health, seeing the body not as something to be exploited or mistreated, but as a sacred vessel for spiritual energy. The chapter also introduces the idea of the three universal centers within the human body: the heart, the brain, and the generative organs. Each center represents different aspects of existence: spiritual, intellectual, and physical. Ancient teachings held that the heart was the true spiritual center, the seat of the soul and the source of life. The brain connected the spiritual realm with intellectual thought, while the generative system represented the creative powers of the physical world. In modern spiritual practice, these three centers can be seen as a call to balance. The heart represents our emotional and spiritual intelligence, the brain our rational mind, and the generative organs our creative potential. When we live in alignment with all three, we cultivate a holistic experience of life, integrating mind, body, and spirit. The lesson here is that true enlightenment comes not from focusing solely on intellect or physicality, but from harmonizing all aspects of our being. In this chapter, the hand is seen as a profound symbol of creative power. Ancient depictions of gods often featured a hand extended from a cloud, representing the only part of the divine that was accessible to human understanding: activity and creation. The hand also symbolized divine authority, showing that creation, manifestation, and action were seen as divine acts. This symbolism can be applied today when we consider our own capacity for creativity and manifestation. The hands are tools through which we bring our thoughts and ideas into the material world. Whether through art, work, or simply interacting with others, our hands allow us to shape reality. By recognizing the sacred nature of creation and the power we hold, we can live more consciously, using our actions to align with higher spiritual purposes. The idea of the anthropos, or the oversoul, is one of the deepest spiritual teachings in this chapter. It suggests that only a part of our divine essence incarnates into our physical body. The larger, eternal part of ourselves remains in the spiritual realm, connected to higher truths and divine wisdom. This means that during life, our spirit is both here in the material world and simultaneously part of something much larger, a cosmic intelligence. In modern spirituality, this speaks to the idea of higher self-awareness, the notion that we are not just physical beings, but spiritual entities having a human experience. By cultivating practices like meditation, contemplation, or prayer, we can reconnect with this oversoul, tapping into the vast storehouse of wisdom and love that resides beyond our material limitations. This understanding helps us transcend the mundane and recognize our greater purpose in life, awakening to our true spiritual nature. Chapter 15. The HIRAMIC Legend. The HIRAMIC legend is one of the most powerful allegories found within the ancient mysteries, often explored in Freemasonry and esoteric traditions. This tale, centered around the building of King Solomon's temple, speaks to the eternal struggle of enlightenment versus ignorance, life versus death, and the ultimate triumph of the spirit over the material world. But what does this myth truly represent? Beyond the literal story of Hiram Abiff, the master builder, it is rich with symbolism that delves deep into the nature of human existence, the soul's journey, and the quest for spiritual ascension. In this chapter, Manly P. Hall dissects the deeper meanings behind the legend, offering a lens through which we can see the hidden forces that shape both our individual and collective destinies. The story of Hiram represents not just the death of an individual, but the crucifixion of the human spirit. an allegory of transformation that resonates with ancient wisdom, touching on concepts from Egyptian mysteries to modern spiritual awakening. Let's dive into 5 key ideas from this chapter and uncover how they speak to us today. The construction of Solomon's temple, in esoteric terms, is not merely an architectural feat, but a metaphor for the building of the inner temple, the human soul. The temple represents the perfected state of humanity, where each stone symbolizes a virtue or spiritual quality being shaped and refined. In modern spiritual practice, this can be likened to the self-development journey, where we are each builders, refining ourselves through knowledge, discipline, and spiritual practices. Ancient wisdom teaches that the true temple is built in silence, without the noise of tools, symbolizing the quiet, inward journey of spiritual work. What we can learn from this is that our greatest spiritual growth often happens in solitude, through contemplation, meditation, and self-awareness, where we align our physical, emotional, and mental energies to build a life filled with meaning and purpose. The murder of Hiram by the 3 ruffians represents the forces that kill the spirit within us: ignorance, fear, and superstition. In many ancient traditions, the figure of the murdered god recurs: Osiris in Egypt, Dionysus in Greece, and even Christ in Christian tradition. Hiram's murder can be viewed as the soul's betrayal by these lower forces, symbolizing how our higher self is often obscured by our attachment to material concerns and false beliefs. In modern times, this theme is a powerful reminder of how we are often spiritually murdered by the distractions of life, fear of the unknown, societal conditioning, and the suppression of our inner truth. It teaches us that overcoming these forces is essential for spiritual resurrection, awakening the dormant powers within, and reclaiming our higher nature. Manly P. Hall ties the legend to deeper esoteric knowledge, particularly in his discussion of the spirit fire and the pineal gland. This is the transformative energy within us, often referred to in many mystical traditions as Kundalini in Hinduism, or the holy fire in Christian mysticism. The pineal gland, referred to as the third eye or the eye of Horus, represents the awakened consciousness, the opening of divine perception. Today, many spiritual seekers believe that awakening the pineal gland leads to higher states of awareness and connection to universal consciousness. The teachings suggest that by aligning our physical and spiritual energies, we can activate this spirit fire, allowing it to rise through the chakras or energy centers of the body, and awaken the full potential of our being. This idea encourages us to explore practices like meditation, breathwork, and mindfulness to ignite this inner fire and expand our awareness. In the chapter, Hall reveals how the story of Hiram's death parallels the movement of the sun through the Zodiac. Just as the sun descends into darkness during the winter solstice and rises again at the spring equinox, Hiram's murder and resurrection symbolize the eternal cycle of death and rebirth, both in nature and within ourselves. In modern times, we can view this as a powerful metaphor for personal transformation. We all go through dark nights of the soul, periods of struggle and inner death, where we feel lost or disconnected. But just like the sun, we rise again, often stronger, wiser, and more aligned with our true purpose. The legend of Hiram teaches that no matter how dark the night, the dawn always comes, a lesson of hope and renewal that is deeply relevant to today's world. One of the most intriguing elements of the HIRAMIC legend is the concept of the lost word. In Masonic tradition, this word represents the ultimate truth or knowledge that was lost with Hiram's death. Symbolically, it points to the spiritual knowledge that humanity has forgotten, the connection to the divine, the truth of our eternal nature, and the purpose of life. In the modern world, this lost word can be seen as our search for meaning in an often chaotic and materialistic society. We are constantly seeking truth, whether through religion, philosophy, science, or personal experiences. The lesson here is that the truth we seek is not external. It is hidden within us, waiting to be rediscovered through inner work, spiritual practices, and the awakening of consciousness. Chapter 16. the Pythagorean theory of music and color. Imagine a world where music and color are not just sensory experiences, but keys to unlocking the very fabric of the universe. What if the harmony you hear in a piece of music is the same harmony that binds the planets, the stars, and the soul? In this deep dive into Pythagoras' theory of music and color, we'll uncover ancient wisdom that speaks directly to our modern world. Overview of the chapter. This chapter introduces us to the profound understanding that Pythagoras had about the interconnectedness of music, color, and the cosmos. Pythagoras viewed music not just as an art form but as a mathematical and spiritual tool, capable of aligning human consciousness with the greater universal forces. He believed that the same principles governing harmony in music were at work in the cosmos and in human nature. Similarly, the colors we see are tied to musical scales, each representing a different frequency or vibration that holds a deeper metaphysical significance. Now, let's break this down into 5 key ideas that we can learn from this ancient knowledge and apply to modern spiritual life. Pythagoras discovered that music wasn't just pleasant to the ears, but it also followed a mathematical order. Through the study of harmonic intervals, he identified that the ratios of string lengths created harmonious sounds. This diatonic scale, still used today, embodies a divine order. In modern terms, we can think of this as the blueprint of harmony that exists everywhere in nature. Pythagoras teaches us that the universe operates on precise mathematical principles, where even something as simple as a musical note can mirror cosmic order. The spiritual takeaway is that when our lives are in harmony, just like the notes of a well-played chord, our souls align with the greater universal flow. This idea mirrors many modern spiritual practices, like mindfulness and meditation, which seek to bring harmony to the body, mind, and spirit. The concept of the music of the spheres is one of Pythagoras' most captivating ideas. He believed that each planet in the solar system produced a unique sound based on its movement through space. These sounds combined to create a symphony of cosmic harmony. Though we cannot physically hear this music, its vibrations resonate throughout the universe, influencing everything from the tides to the movements of celestial bodies. This celestial music reminds us of the unseen forces constantly at work in our lives. In modern terms, this could be likened to the vibrations of energy that permeate the universe, vibrations that we are all part of. Many spiritual traditions speak of attuning oneself to these cosmic energies through practices like sound healing, breathwork, and meditative attunement. The lesson here is that harmony isn't just an individual experience, it's a universal law. Pythagoras also recognized the healing power of music, using it to treat ailments of the body and mind. He believed that specific types of music could calm anger, ease sorrow, and even heal physical ailments. His use of the lyre and other instruments as musical medicine predates modern music therapy, but the principle remains the same. Sound can heal. In today's world, we know the impact music has on our emotional and mental states. Think of how a calming song can ease anxiety, or how an uplifting beat can energize you. Pythagoras was ahead of his time in recognizing this, teaching us that harmony in music can bring harmony to the soul. On a deeper level, it suggests that our inner music, our thoughts and emotions, must be in balance for true well-being. Colors, like music, operate at different frequencies. Pythagoras tied the colors of the spectrum to the musical scale, linking both to the zodiac and planetary energies. Each color was more than just a visual experience. It was a symbolic language used to express spiritual truths. For instance, red, the lowest vibration in the color spectrum, corresponds with the root energy, while violet, the highest vibration, aligns with spiritual enlightenment. In modern spiritual practices, color therapy and chakra healing use these same principles. Red energizes, blue calms, and violet inspires deep spiritual awakening. Pythagoras' understanding of color as vibrational energy aligns perfectly with how we view the role of color in holistic healing practices today. The spiritual lesson here is that colors can be used to influence and enhance different aspects of our spiritual journey, just as they did in the temples of the ancient world. One of Pythagoras's most intriguing contributions was his discovery of the law of octaves, which applies not just to music, but also to the natural world. He found that every eighth element in the periodic table had similar properties, which mirrors the structure of the musical scale where the eighth note is a repetition of the first at a higher frequency. This discovery reveals a fundamental pattern that recurs throughout the universe. This idea of octaves in nature shows us that everything in life moves in cycles and patterns. We see this in the seasons, in life's challenges, and in our spiritual growth. When we learn to recognize these cycles, we can better align ourselves with the natural flow of life. This understanding can help us achieve a sense of peace and acceptance, knowing that every low note in our lives will eventually resolve into a higher octave, bringing us closer to spiritual harmony. Chapter 17. Fishes, Insects, Animals, Reptiles, and Birds. Throughout history, the creatures that inhabit our world have carried deep, symbolic meanings. These animals, fishes, insects, reptiles, birds, were not just forms of life to the ancients. They were the bridge between the visible and invisible, the mundane and the divine. This chapter dives into these creatures' profound roles in ancient spirituality and symbolism, unlocking the wisdom hidden within the natural world and its spiritual mysteries. Today, we can rediscover this hidden knowledge to see the world and ourselves in a new light. In many spiritual traditions, the whale is not just a giant sea creature, but a symbol of a deep, transformative journey. The story of Jonah being swallowed by the whale is an allegory of spiritual initiation. In modern terms, this symbolizes the process of self-discovery. Just like Jonah spent 3 days in the whale's belly, we often go through periods of darkness and isolation, where we are forced to face our deepest fears and ignorance. The whale is a reminder that this darkness isn't the end, but a necessary part of the spiritual process. It's only through this descent into the unknown that we can emerge reborn, wiser, and more enlightened. In today's world, this can be likened to overcoming personal struggles or transformative life events that lead to profound growth. The fish, as used by early Christians, is more than a religious symbol. It ties into ancient wisdom that associates the fish with life itself. Why? Water has always been seen as the origin of life, and fish are prolific, representing the continuous cycle of life, creation, and fertility. Christ was symbolized by a fish not only because of his connection to the waters of baptism, but also because he represented the rebirth of the soul. For us today, the fish serves as a reminder that our spiritual journey is cyclical. It tells us that life, like the movement of water, is ever flowing, ever renewing, and that spiritual growth is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process of rebirth and renewal. The serpent is perhaps one of the most misunderstood symbols in both ancient and modern times. While Christianity often portrays the snake as evil, it's revered in many other traditions as a symbol of wisdom, transformation, and enlightenment. In ancient Egypt and other cultures, the serpent represented the Kundalini energy, an untapped reservoir of power lying dormant in the human body. When awakened, it ascends the spine, bringing about spiritual awakening and wisdom. In our modern context, this serpent energy could be seen as the latent potential within each of us. It symbolizes the journey of self-realization, the unraveling of our true power, which, when harnessed, can lead to greater awareness and higher consciousness. The scarab beetle, an iconic symbol of ancient Egypt, represents more than just an insect. It is a symbol of resurrection and eternal life. The ancients saw the scarab's actions, rolling a ball of dung believed to contain its eggs, as a metaphor for the sun's journey across the sky and the cycle of life and death. To the Egyptians, the scarab represented Ra, the sun god, and the promise of eternal life. In today's world, the scarab speaks to our innate desire for immortality, not just physical, but spiritual immortality. It reminds us that life is cyclical, that death is not the end, and that spiritual rebirth is always possible. We can see this symbolism play out in our personal quests for growth, renewal, and leaving behind legacies that endure. Birds are often viewed as messengers between the divine and human worlds. Their ability to fly made them sacred in many traditions, representing the soul's aspiration to transcend earthly limitations and connect with higher realms. The phoenix, a bird that dies and rises again from its ashes, is an eternal symbol of rebirth and renewal. This theme of spiritual ascension can be seen in modern spirituality. Birds remind us of our own spiritual potential to rise above worldly challenges and limitations. In today's fast-paced world, their flight symbolizes the freedom of the soul to soar beyond material concerns and connect with the infinite. Just as birds navigate the skies, we are constantly navigating our spiritual paths, moving between the material and the ethereal. These symbols, Jonah's whale, the fish of Christ, the serpent of wisdom, the scarab of eternal life, and the birds as divine messengers, connect ancient wisdom to our modern lives. They teach us that our spiritual journey is a constant cycle of birth, death, and renewal, a continuous transformation of the soul. By reflecting on these powerful symbols, we gain not only a deeper understanding of the ancient world, but also a profound insight into our own spiritual potential and growth. The wisdom embedded in these creatures reminds us that we are all part of a greater cosmic story, one that speaks to the eternal dance between life, death, and the search for spiritual truth. Chapter 18. Fishes, Insects, Animals, Reptiles, and Birds, Part 2. This chapter delves into the symbolic meanings assigned to birds, animals, and mythological creatures across various ancient cultures. From the majestic eagle to the mystical phoenix, these creatures embodied divine principles, virtues, and mysteries. The birds, animals, reptiles, and mythological beasts explored in this chapter reveal a deeper understanding of how ancient civilizations viewed the universe and their connection to spiritual realms. The key message in this analysis lies in recognizing how these creatures represent transformation, divine communication, and renewal, all of which provide profound lessons for modern spiritual seekers. The dove, a symbol of divine wisdom and creation. The dove is universally recognized as a symbol of peace and purity, especially in Christianity, where it represents the Holy Spirit. However, the dove's roots extend far deeper into ancient pagan cultures, where it was revered as a yonic emblem, symbolizing creation and divine wisdom. In this chapter, the dove is portrayed not only as a messenger of the divine, but as an emblem of maternal instinct and order. In modern terms, the dove teaches us about the balance between nurturing energy and wisdom, reminding us that peace and creation go hand in hand. Spiritually, it calls for harmony in our lives and connection to the divine order. What we can learn from the ancient reverence of the dove is the power of inner calm, the importance of nurturing others, and staying aligned with divine wisdom, especially in chaotic times. The phoenix, the eternal cycle of renewal. One of the most compelling symbols discussed in the chapter is the phoenix, a creature that dies in flames only to rise again from its ashes, representing the cycle of death and rebirth. Ancient civilizations used the phoenix to illustrate the concept of immortality, both of the soul and the universe itself. In modern spirituality, the phoenix serves as a metaphor for personal transformation. No matter how dark or challenging a period may seem, the phoenix teaches that renewal and rebirth are always possible. Whether viewed through a psychological, spiritual, or even societal lens, this symbol offers hope, illustrating that from destruction or hardship, we can rise stronger and wiser. The Great Seal of the United States and the Phoenix. The chapter interestingly points out that the American eagle depicted on the Great Seal of the United States was originally a phoenix. This imagery, unnoticed by most, carries significant esoteric meaning. The phoenix symbolizes a nation reborn, a powerful emblem of regeneration and transformation, fitting for a country rising from the challenges of revolution. In modern times, this symbol reminds us of the ever-renewing nature of democracy and personal freedom. It shows that, like the phoenix, nations and individuals must continually evolve to survive and thrive. The hidden spiritual teaching here emphasizes that true greatness, whether of a country or a person, comes from embracing transformation and allowing the old to burn away for the new to emerge. Bast, the cat goddess, the power of mystery and protection. Bast, the feline goddess of the Ptolemies, represents mystery, independence, and protection. In ancient Egypt, the cat symbolized the magnetic forces of nature and the power of astral fire. Cats were seen as creatures that embodied the link between the physical and spiritual worlds. Bast was honored as a divine protector, representing both the nurturing mother and the fierce guardian. In modern spiritual teachings, Bast reminds us of the duality we carry within, our ability to be both soft and nurturing, yet fiercely protective of our energy and boundaries. Her feline form invites us to embrace the mystery of life and trust our instincts, knowing that within mystery lies wisdom. The unicorn, spiritual purity, and the third eye. The unicorn, or monoceros, mentioned in ancient mythologies, is an emblem of spiritual purity and mystical insight. Its single horn is symbolic of the pineal gland, or the third eye, the spiritual center of wisdom and higher perception in the human brain. This mythological creature was revered as an emblem of purity, not merely in the physical sense, but in spiritual terms, representing the uncorrupted soul seeking higher truths. In modern spirituality, the unicorn symbolizes our potential for awakening our inner wisdom and accessing realms beyond the material. The third eye represents an ability to see the truth beyond illusion. The unicorn teaches that we must harness our spiritual insight to navigate the world with purity and clarity of vision, reminding us to strive for higher consciousness and alignment with divine will. These symbols from ancient teachings speak to universal truths about transformation, wisdom, spiritual insight, and the eternal cycles of life. By understanding their deeper meanings, we can apply these lessons to our modern spiritual journeys. Whether through the metaphor of the phoenix rising from the ashes or the dove's message of peace, these ancient creatures provide a map for navigating both the seen and unseen worlds. Chapter 19. Flowers, Plants, Fruits, and Trees. This chapter takes us deep into the mystical realm of nature, where plants, flowers, and trees are not just life forms, but symbolic vessels carrying ancient wisdom. Their physical forms embody powerful metaphors that connect us to the spiritual, the divine, and the cosmic principles that govern creation. From the phallic symbolism of the flower's reproductive system to the sacred geometry of the lotus blossom and the powerful tree of Yggdrasil, these symbols have influenced spiritual teachings for millennia. In modern times, we often overlook nature's inherent wisdom, but the ancients saw plants, flowers, fruits, and trees as bridges between the material and the divine, guiding humanity toward higher consciousness. This chapter illuminates how deeply intertwined nature and spirituality are, and through this exploration, we rediscover nature's ability to transform our understanding of life, death, and the cosmic order. The lotus blossom holds deep spiritual significance across ancient cultures, particularly in Hinduism and Egyptian esoteric traditions. In this chapter, the lotus is portrayed as an emblem of the soul's journey through ignorance, struggle, and eventual enlightenment. This journey is not merely metaphorical. It reflects the actual process of spiritual awakening. In modern terms, the lotus can be viewed as a symbol of resilience and transformation. Growing from the mud of desire and illusion, it rises through the waters of life's trials, finally blooming in the light of wisdom and truth. The various petals of the lotus are likened to the energy centers, or chakras, within our own bodies. This ancient idea finds resonance today in spiritual practices that focus on inner healing and balance, reminding us that spiritual growth is a process of unfolding from darkness to light. Yggdrasil, the great world tree from Scandinavian mythology, serves as a powerful symbol of the connection between realms. This tree supports 9 worlds, representing different dimensions of existence, all interwoven and dependent on the tree's vitality. The chapter explores how Yggdrasil's branches extend into heaven, while its roots penetrate deep into the underworld, signifying the interconnectedness of all life. In the modern context, Yggdrasil can be seen as a metaphor for the universe itself, where everything is connected, and each action ripples through the cosmic web. This notion aligns with contemporary views of quantum entanglement, where every particle, no matter how far apart, remains interconnected. Spiritually, Yggdrasil reminds us that our journey through life is not isolated. Our existence is linked to a grander cosmic system. The sprig of acacia is another critical symbol in this chapter, representing resurrection, immortality, and purity. In the ancient Egyptian and Jewish traditions, the acacia tree was revered as a sacred tree, with ties to eternal life and spiritual regeneration. Even today, it is a central symbol in Freemasonry, where it marks the graves of the spiritually enlightened. In modern life, the acacia teaches us about the cycle of death and rebirth, reminding us that physical death is not the end, but a transition. This ties into the broader spiritual concept that true immortality is found through the eternal nature of the soul. As the acacia persists through the harshest conditions, it symbolizes resilience in the face of adversity, inspiring us to view life as an ongoing journey toward enlightenment. The mandrake, a plant entwined with mysticism and superstition, holds a prominent place in this chapter as a symbol of magical power. Its human-like shape and rumored cries upon being uprooted have made it a subject of fascination for centuries. The mandrake was believed to possess potent abilities, from curing sterility to casting out demons, connecting it to ancient rituals of healing and magic. In contemporary terms, the mandrake symbolizes the profound mystery of life that exists in nature. It represents the boundary between the seen and unseen, physical and spiritual. For us, this reminds us that nature holds secrets beyond scientific understanding, urging us to respect the ancient wisdom embedded in plants. The mandrake, then, becomes a symbol of the potential for unlocking hidden powers within nature and within ourselves. The grape, commonly associated with Dionysian rituals, symbolizes the duality between the material and spiritual realms. While it can represent the pleasures and vices of the physical world, its juice, wine, holds deeper spiritual significance in many traditions, including Christianity, where it represents the blood of Christ in communion. This dual nature of the grape serves as a lesson in balance for the modern world. While indulgence in physical pleasures can lead to a loss of spiritual clarity, moderation and mindfulness allow for a harmonious existence. The grape's journey from vine to wine parallels our own, as we must learn to balance the material and spiritual aspects of our lives to reach higher states of consciousness. Through the symbols of flowers, plants, fruits, and trees, this chapter reveals the profound relationship between the natural world and spiritual enlightenment. Each plant, flower, and tree carries within it ancient wisdom that transcends time, offering modern individuals lessons on growth, resilience, and spiritual awakening. Nature's secrets, embodied in these forms, continue to inspire and guide us toward deeper understanding, reminding us that the path to spiritual awakening is ever present in the world around us. Chapter 20. Stones, Metals, and Gem. In this chapter, we delve deep into the profound relationship between humanity and the natural elements, stones, metals, and gems, and how these physical substances connect us to the spiritual realms. From ancient civilizations to mystical traditions, these materials have been seen as conduits of divine energy, symbols of cosmic truths, and tools for spiritual transformation. Each stone or metal is not just a physical object, but a symbol of universal principles, grounding the spiritual in the material world. This chapter reveals how ancient wisdom viewed these natural elements as more than inanimate objects, but as sacred vessels of power and insight, intertwined with human evolution and divine mysteries. The chapter begins by drawing a powerful analogy between stones and the spiritual foundation of life. Stones are seen as the bones of the earth, much like the bones in the human body form the structure that holds us up. This idea is rooted in the belief that stones represent the enduring, unchanging nature of the divine. Spiritually, stones are the bedrock of our existence, symbolizing the eternal truths that underlie all of creation. In modern terms, we can relate this to how we seek stability and grounding in our spiritual practices. Just as stones were revered by ancient cultures for their permanence, we too need solid foundations in our spiritual lives, principles or beliefs that remain unshakable despite the chaos of life. Stones represent timeless wisdom, reminding us to build our lives on truths that endure. Spiritual concept: the stone as a symbol of the eternal grounding presence of the divine in both the material and spiritual worlds. It teaches us to connect with our spiritual roots and find stability in life's ever-changing journey. Metals, according to ancient teachings, were more than just materials for tools and weapons. They were infused with celestial energy. Each metal was associated with a planet or a deity and carried specific magical properties. For example, gold was aligned with the sun, symbolizing the life-giving energy of divine illumination, while silver was linked to the moon, representing reflection and introspection. In today's spiritual context, metals can be seen as powerful tools for transformation. Just as alchemists sought to transmute base metals into gold, we can seek to transform our lower material nature into something higher, more spiritual. Gold, as the metal of the sun, reminds us of our potential to shine with the light of our inner divinity, while silver encourages us to reflect deeply on our inner selves. Metals represent the alchemical process of spiritual transformation. They remind us that by refining our character and aligning with higher truths, we can elevate ourselves spiritually, just as base metals were believed to be transformed into gold. Gems have long been seen as carriers of mystical power. The ancients believed that certain stones and gems could protect the wearer, heal ailments, or even attract specific energies. For instance, the sapphire was believed to bring peace and open the mind to prayer, while the ruby ignited passion and courage. In modern spiritual practices, gemstones are still used for their energetic properties. Whether used in meditation, healing, or ritual work, gems act as conduits for spiritual energy, amplifying the intentions of those who wear or use them. This concept connects deeply with the idea that everything in the material world, even the smallest stone, holds a vibration that resonates with higher spiritual truths. Gems symbolize the concentrated power of spiritual energy in the material world. They teach us to harness and focus our intentions, using the energy of the earth to manifest higher spiritual goals. One of the most powerful metaphors in the chapter is the connection between stones and divine law, epitomized by the tablets of the law given to Moses. These tablets, carved from divine sapphire, symbolize eternal truths inscribed in the fabric of the universe. They are a reminder that the divine will is not transient, but written in the stone of cosmic law, unchanging and ever-present. In our lives today, this can be seen as a call to connect with the unchanging truths of the universe, the natural laws that govern existence, such as love, compassion, and integrity. These are the stones upon which we should build our lives, much like how ancient societies built their temples on sacred stones to honor the divine. The tablets of the law remind us that universal truths are unchanging, and that by aligning with these spiritual laws, we can find deeper meaning and purpose in life. The chapter's exploration of the Holy Grail connects stones with the ultimate spiritual quest. The Grail, said to be fashioned from a divine stone, represents not just a physical object, but the ultimate vessel of spiritual truth. It is a symbol of the heart, the inner sanctuary where divine wisdom is held. In modern spirituality, the Grail can be seen as the search for our true selves, the quest to find and embrace the divine essence within. Just as the Grail Knights sought the cup of Christ, we too seek the inner chalice where the mysteries of life and the universe are held. The Grail's connection to stones reminds us that even the most profound spiritual truths are grounded in the physical world, waiting to be discovered within us. The Holy Grail represents the heart, the vessel of divine wisdom within. It symbolizes our journey toward inner enlightenment, where the divine and the material come together, As we conclude our journey through the second 10 chapters of the Secret Teachings of All Ages, I want to thank you for diving deep into this ancient knowledge with me. We've uncovered timeless truths, symbols, and mysteries that still resonate today. But this is only the beginning. The wisdom of the ages doesn't stop here. In our next video, we'll explore chapters 21 through 30, where we delve even further into the hidden realms, discovering more secrets of the ancient mysteries, the profound teachings into ceremonial magic and sorcery, and the Kabbalah and Rosicrucian doctrines. Join me in the next chapter of our journey as we continue to interpret and understand the profound meanings behind these ancient texts. There's so much more to uncover, and together we can unlock even greater truths that have been waiting for us through the centuries. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video enlightening, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss the next video in the series. The mysteries of the universe await, and the journey continues.